What's up, everyone? It is your girl Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna get into my favorite your skin but better foundations, if you will. So without further ado, let's get into it, girl, because we know I will talk forever. So I got a couple of honorable mentions to start off with, and then we're gonna get into the like the skin tint BB CC cream type products. Then I'm gonna show you my affordable things, then I'm gonna show you the high-end things, then I'm gonna show you the luxury things and the concealers, and then we're gonna call it a day. Okay, girl? Okay. So honorable mention is this Westman Atelier Vital Skincare Complexion Drops. I wear the shade 11 in these. I feel like these are good mixers when it comes to products. If you want to thin out a thicker foundation you have in your collection now to make it more skin-like, if you will, I would recommend putting this in there, because it's definitely going to thin it out, because it has a really watery consistency and it has a little bit of tinted color to it, so it'll thin out whatever foundation it is you're using, and it'll give you a nice glow from within type moment. So for instance, you have like a thick foundation, like if you still had that original Huda Beauty foundation that was super thick, maybe you can squeeze a drop of two of this in there and it'll thin it out, and it'll give you a little bit more brightness to it, and it won't give as much coverage and make it as thick on the skin. So to me, this is just a good mixer thing. This is something I definitely think you should get on sale, though you should not pay regular price for this, because to me it's not worth regular price by a long shot. I was completely disappointed when I used this. If you all remember the video, like, it wasn't giving any sort of coverage whatsoever. So if you're looking for coverage, that is not this. If you're looking for little to no coverage and you don't mind spending the money on a luxury product, then I would recommend this. That's why it's an honorable mention to me, because I'm just using it as a glorified mixer since I already have it in my collection, and I didn't want to return it after I used it in the video. So it's been working so far for that purpose, but as like an actual foundation or as a skin tint, I don't recommend it unless you have perfect skin and you're just looking for something to add. And I have another product, I have a couple of other products, like 2 or 3, that I would recommend over this that are more affordable as well. So that's another reason I don't recommend this. Okay, next honorable mention I have is the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. Now I have the shade 5ND Cardamom. It's a great foundation. It looks great on the skin. It's just the shade range is somewhat lacking when it comes to this foundation. So I don't want to be out here recommending and talking about how wonderful it is when like the shade range isn't giving what it should be giving. So for that reason alone, I don't necessarily recommend it. But if you like a your skin but better, and I mean this truly looks like your skin but better type of foundation, I just feel like it doesn't get enough coverage for your skin but better. And again, I have other products I'm going to talk about that I feel like do a better job with that. So I really like the finish. I really think this looks really nice and natural on the skin. If you want to see details about any of the foundations I'm talking about, I most likely have videos on them. I think it's only 2 foundations in this whole video that you gonna see that I don't have videos on, but I'm pretty sure everything else has a video on it. So there's that. But I really like this. It's just I wish they had a better shade range, and I wish it gave more coverage. So that's why it's just an honorable mention for me, and not a product that I would actually, you know, like tell you that you need to go out and buy. Everything else I'm telling you, you need to go out and get. Okay, so we're gonna start with the skin tint. So I'm gonna start with, of course, the skin tint I'm telling you that you should get, as opposed to the Westman Atelier. And I told you in that video that you should get the Fenty Ease Drops Blurring Skin Tint. I wear the shade 20 in these. Looks immaculate, amazing on the skin. Every time I put this on, I'm impressed with it. And since my skin is getting a lot better than it used to be, I definitely have no problem putting this on. When it first came out, my skin wasn't in its greatest shape, so that's why I didn't purchase it then. But I bought this during her sale she had this year, the Friends and Family sale. She had 25% off, so I went ahead and grabbed it then. And I must say, I'm very impressed with this product. I really like it. I want to mix this with the Westman Atelier and see how they're going to work out together. So I'll probably do that tomorrow or something. But honey, I'm loving it. It is definitely a skin tint that I can get down with. And y'all know I don't usually go with skin tints, but if I do, it has to have like a medium coverage, and I feel like that definitely has a medium coverage, so it's not on the sheer side like a lot of skin tints and other things are that they're traditionally supposed to be. And I feel like that's why I like it a lot better than traditional skin tints, because you know it gives me more coverage that I need. So now we're gonna get into the other two. The other two are drugstore ones that I really like. So I have, of course, the NYX Bear With Me Blurring Tint Foundation. I have the shade Deep Bronze 20. I actually supposed to wear the shade Deep Golden 19, but I picked this up in store when I went to go pick something else up for a video, and this was the only shade they had, so I went ahead with this one. It's not too off when I do the rest of my routine and my concealer and all that, but I am going to go ahead and get my shade once this shade runs out. I just had to get it while it was still somewhat new for the video, so that's why I had to settle for shade 20. But I'm a huge fan of this and definitely recommend it. I actually like the concealer as well, but I use it as more of a concealer I blend in with other concealers because it's a little too sheer for my liking. That's the funny thing. I thought this was going to be sheer like that, but it's actually not, and I'm quite impressed. So the concealer though, I do blend in with other things just because I feel like it doesn't give it enough coverage that I want. The last affordable tint or like skin tint BB CC cream product I want to talk about is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter Glow Booster for Radiant Skin. I have the shade 6tan, I believe. Yeah, 6tan Deep. This stuff is amazing. I feel like it gives way more coverage than the Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like it has a better shade range than the Charlotte Tilbury. And I just think it looks better on the skin than the Charlotte Tilbury. So I definitely recommend this one over the Charlotte Tilbury just for those reasons. It gives me amazing coverage. Then I can put the CC powder on the camouflage powder that they have on top of this, and it looks amazing. Like, it just looks like my skin, but better vibes. It gives a good medium coverage and can be built up pretty nicely. So that's what I really love about that product, and love it way more than the Charlotte Tilbury. Now let's get into the drugstore foundation, because I have like 4. One of them, a couple of them are old school ones, a couple of them are somewhat new ones. So I'm gonna start off with NYX. It's the Born to Glow. I love this. I wear the shade Sienna in this foundation. It's absolutely amazing. It is a natural radiant foundation finish to it. Unfortunately, they got rid of the matching concealer because it was just as nice as the foundation. But you know, I really like this foundation. You can usually find it on sale for like $5 on Ulta's website. Like, I saw some shades for $5 right now. This retails for $10 though, and it's definitely worth the $10. This foundation is amazing. If you want a nice radiant foundation from the drugstore that will cost you a lot of money, I definitely recommend trying out this one for sure. And then of course I have the L'Oreal Infallible, what is this, Freshwater up to 24-hour wear foundation. I wear the shade 515 Deep Copper. This stuff is amazing on the skin. I definitely feel like you should definitely try it out. My mom likes this foundation on me way more than a lot of my other high-end expensive ones. She says it looks better than those. And this is, I think, like $12.99 at CVS. So you can probably find it for like $10 at Walmart. It's definitely worth the investment if you need a drugstore foundation, because NYX isn't sold at all drugstores, but you know you can go into Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and pick this up if you're on a if you're in an emergency, in a pinch, and need a good look. This is definitely a foundation for you, girl. Now the other two drugstore ones I have are from their sister brands. So Catrice and e.l.f. The Catrice True Skin Hydrating Foundation. Y'all know I love this stuff. I wear the shade Warm Spices. And then in the Essence one, I wear the shade 180 Mahogany. This is the deepest shade they have. Now, as you can see, this one is deeper than this one. So this one will probably have to be like my winter shade, and this one can be my summer shade, because the shades are off. You can't buy Catrice at Ulta anymore. You have to buy this at Amazon, but you can buy Essence at Ulta, and you can also buy Essence at CVS. So you might be able to pick this up at your local CVS store. This is the deepest that the shade comes in from what I remember. So their shade range is always a little more disappointing than Catrice. I feel like Catrice does a little bit more, but Catrice expects you to pay a little bit more, so that could be it. The formulas on these are pretty consistent with each other. I feel like this one's a little bit more hydrating than this one, and this one gives a little bit more coverage than this one in my personal opinion, just having used both of them. But either one will do you well. It's just if you want more, if you want a better shade range, get the Catrice one. And if you're fine with the somewhat limited shade range, as long as you pick it up at drugstore, then I would say go with the Essence one. So those are my opinions. Now we're gonna get into the high-end stuff. I don't have that many high-end ones. I think I have like 3 high-end foundations. My battery is trying to die on me, so let me go get a new one, and then we'll get into the high-end, and then we'll end off with the luxury, because I got quite a few of those, because you know that's their specialty, like your skin but better type stuff, giving minimal coverage and charging outrageous prices. So I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so now let's get into these high-end ones. I was shocked that the high-end ones was the ones I had the least of, but I expected to have the most. And then, wait, no, I have 4 high-end, sorry. So the first high-end I have is the Makeup Forever HD Skin Undetectable Stay True Foundation. I wear the shade 4Y60, which used to be Y503 in the old foundation. I usually wear Y505 because this foundation oxidizes. I feel like you should go a shade up. If you all want to see the video on this, you can go check it out. I gave y'all swatches of the shade I used to wear versus this shade, and I think a shade that was lighter than that or a shade that was darker than that. So I went really in depth because I knew they had changed the numbers on it. I wanted to make sure everybody who wears the same shade I do got the right foundation shade. So I got samples in addition to buying the bottle that had the one that matched my skin tone best. So this is the first Makeup Forever foundation I actually liked from the HD line. I usually like their matte line. I don't really care about the HD line because I've never liked any of the HDs until now. This one is probably the best one they have ever come out with, and I have no problem raving about it and telling you to go pick it up. Like, this is definitely a good foundation, and they have 30% off sales on their website a lot of the time, so I definitely think it's a good foundation for you to pick up and try out, honey, because honey, it's giving your skin but better. And then you can put their new matte foundation powder on top of it if you want extra coverage, and you use one pump of that and you'll be looking amazing. So definitely get your hands on that one. Now the next one I have is the Huda Beauty, what is this called? Faux Filter Skin Finish Buildable Coverage Foundation Stick. I wear the shade Mocha 500G in all Huda Beauty foundations, and I love this thing. Like, this definitely is one of those foundation sticks that gives your skin but better. This is my go-to when I'm in a rush to get to work and I want to wear a high-end foundation stick, because I have an affordable foundation stick as well, the thread foundation stick. I forgot to bring it with me because I used it to get ready for work and it's almost gone. Like, I need to get another one of those. It's just as nice as this one, and it's much more affordable. So you could either get this one or you could get the Thread Beauty foundation stick, because honey, it is amazing. But this one definitely gives your skin but better. It is a little bit more on the higher coverage end, because y'all know Huda's like me and she loves for some coverage. So it does still give a little bit more coverage than you might expect for a foundation stick, but honey, trust me, it's wonderful. Next I have the One Size Turn Up the Base BBB Cream, the Beauty Blur Balm. I have the shade Dark 2G. It's supposed to be darker golden undertone. Now, at first I was concerned about getting this just because I was like, it says it's a BB cream, so it's not going to be giving like any sort of coverage. But I had to remind myself that it was Patrick Star, so I was like, I'm willing to try it just because it's Patrick Star, and he's like me and loves him a full coverage moment. Okay, so he didn't let me down with this one. This one definitely gives you full coverage. But the weird thing about this is I don't like how this looks to, like, literally I finished every single part of my makeup, sprayed my face and all, and then I'm done. Then I love the way it looks at the end. Going through the process of putting the foundation on, you know how when you put it on, you be like, oh yes girl, the foundation's giving. Like, I don't get that with this. I have never got that with this. To this day, I still don't get that with this. I have to fully finish my makeup in order for me to like the way it looks. But it's still a stunning foundation. It does a great job. It looks wonderful on the face, so I want to recommend it. When I first tried it, y'all, I was like, I don't know. It took me a while to love it, which I was shocked about because I love Patrick Star as a whole, so I don't know why it took me so long to be, you know, excited about that. Okay, so the last one I have to talk about is controversial. I know a lot of people don't like this. I love it. I mean, I know people love the powder in it more than they love the actual foundation itself, so I feel like you should know what I'm talking about. This is the Patrick Ta Cream Foundation and Finishing Powder Duo. I have the shade Tan 3. One of y'all told me this one worked better for me than I think I had Deep 1. And you're right, it does work better for me. As you can see, I've been using mine a bit. It has a nice little dent in it. I love this and the powder. I love to use these together. I feel like they just look amazing on the skin together. It does look a little bit heavy though, but y'all know me, I spray my face down and pat everything in so it looks more skin-like on me because of that. It does give a little bit of oiliness, so I do use a little more spray than usual, and I use a more mattifying setting powder than I do his powder. So I'll put his powder like underneath the eyes, but I wouldn't put it like all over the face because it's like, you know, I need to be more matte than what the powder gives, and since the foundation is a little bit creamier, so that's just something I have to keep in mind when using it. So if you have oily combination skin like I do, then you might want to keep that in mind. I feel like if you have dry skin or normal skin, it should be okay. Although Angelica Nikas said she didn't like it and she has normal skin. She says she's starting to get a little oily though because she's in Texas and it's really hot there. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm feeling like that might be why she feels the way she feels about it, because she is starting to have a little bit more oiling going on because she's in Texas. I can't speak for her though, but that is what she did say in the video about why she didn't like the foundation, because she felt like it made her look oily and she has, you know, normal skin. So again, just something to keep in mind. I'm trying to let you all know about all skin types, not just necessarily mine. I can obviously tell you best when it comes to mine from my personal experience with them, but when I hear other creators say certain things, I do try to make sure I include them because it might be helpful to you. Because just because you watch me doesn't mean you have oily skin. You can have normal skin. You can have dry skin like Dr. Ash and her makeup. I don't know. So I'm just trying to cover all the bases that I can to help you, girl. Okay? So now let's get into all these luxury foundations, because honey, it's a lot. Like, it's about 5 or 6 of them up in here. Don't judge me. Y'all know I'm the bougie high maintenance lady who likes expensive things. So let's get started. So I'm gonna start off with an old one that everybody talked about in forever, but that doesn't mean it's not a banger. Okay, at least this is one of the old ones. I got like 2 or 3 old ones in here, then like some newer ones. But yeah, so the Shiseido Synchro Skin Self-Refreshing Foundation. I wear the shade 510 Suede Honey. Do y'all remember how this foundation was resetting itself and make sure it kept your oils in place and, you know, wasn't making you out here looking crazy? And then they have like a matching powder that just chef's kiss it. It helps with this even more. And I think I have the shade 510 Suede and that as well. Honey, like this foundation is giving. Don't forget about her. Just because you haven't used it in a while doesn't mean she's still not giving. She's still giving, and you need to appreciate what she's giving. Okay? So I definitely want to shout out this one just because it's an older one. And I feel like people don't talk about that much. I got a couple more older ones. So I got the La Mer, the Soft Fluid Long Wear Foundation in the shade 430 Chestnut. Now this shade is a little too dark for me in the wintertime, but in the summertime it works out for me pretty well. So I wanted to go ahead and recommend this. I know she's expensive and bougie, I don't know what, but like once I tried that the Clay Depot foundation, I could appreciate this one so much more, because the Clay Depot costs more than this one and it doesn't look nearly as good as this one does. So I definitely appreciate this so much more now, having tried the Clay Depot. So now I can bring everybody and talk about how wonderful it is, because I've tried an even more expensive one that doesn't do nearly as good a job as this one. So I definitely recommend this if you want a special occasion foundation. This one and another one I'm about to recommend, I feel like will definitely do the job. Actually, I have a couple more I can recommend that I feel like would do the job in the luxury realm, if that's the route you want to go. Now, of course, y'all know the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk was going to be in here. I would shade 11.75 Honey. This is amazing. And my girl Amy, or Beauty Deals BFF on Instagram, be finding you deals for this foundation for 34 bucks. And y'all know this is $68, so it's expensive. But when she be finding deals for 34 bucks, I best believe I will be getting a new fresh one to leave over here, because this foundation is amazing. It's a banger. I still love it to this day. I should have did a video on old school foundations that's still hitting. Matter of fact, I still will do that. I'm gonna leave this here just for that video, because honey, she's still hitting, she's still giving, she's still doing what she came to do. This foundation is amazing, and if you have not tried it, they have smaller versions. Now, I doubt if they have a smaller version in my skin tone. You can check, but I know they have smaller versions for other skin tones. So, this is fire. Just wait till Beauty Deals BFF finds you a deal for it for $30-something like she did the last time, because that's how I ended up with mine. I didn't pay full price for it. I paid 30 bucks, and it's like a $67 foundation. So, shout out to Amy. That's why I keep telling y'all, follow my girl Beauty Deals BFF. She be having all the tea on all the deals. So go follow Amy on Instagram, and you're welcome. The link is down in the description box in the bottom. Amy find all the deals, okay? I promise you, Amy will find all the deals. All you have to do is click on her link and she'll do the rest. So, next I have the Very Valentino Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 26 Light Lasting Perfecting Foundation. I wear the shade DN2. I love this foundation. Honey. And the funny thing is, when this first came out, I was like, I don't want to try that. I'm not going to try that. And then it ended up coming to, I think it came to Nordstrom Rack, and they had a 15% off coupon or something. That's how I ended up, not Nordstrom Rack, Nordstrom. It was Nordstrom, or, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Nordstrom it came to, and they had the 50% off beauty sale. So that's how I ended up with the foundation, and I'm so glad I got it, because I was over like, yeah, I don't want to try that, and yeah, I'm probably not going to get that and review that. And then here we are with it being one of my all-time favorite luxury foundations. So I am so happy I got it, and I ended up getting it at a discount, and I'm obsessed with this foundation, y'all. I love it. I'm obsessed. Like, if you don't want to spend money on Giorgio Armani or the La Mer, I definitely feel like this is just as nice a foundation. I think this one's only like $55 or $65. So it's closer to the what do you call it? The Luminous Silk price, but it's not nearly as close to the La Mer foundation, because La Mer I think is $130. So you could buy the Armani Luminous Silk and the Very Valentino and have 2 foundations for the price of that one foundation. So just keep that in mind. Next I have this Westman Atelier Vital Skin Foundation Stick in the shade 12. So this is what she looks like. This foundation stick is really nice on the skin. It doesn't build up as well as I would like it to, but I usually have a good high-end concealer that has high coverage that I can put with it that makes it worth a while for me, because it looks really skin-like and nice. It's like a more skin-like version of the Huda Beauty foundation stick I showed you all earlier. So if you want more coverage, I would definitely say go with that one over the Huda Beauty one. Huda Beauty gives more coverage, but the Westman Atelier looks more skin-like. I'm gonna swatch them on my hands real quick just so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me see. Even though when I compared them in the video, y'all told me like, yeah, the Westman Atelier looks more skin-like. That's because I think the Huda one has a little more coverage to it, so with more coverage, it's gonna make it look thicker on the skin. So this is Westman Atelier, the lighter one, and then the darker one is Huda. So as you can see, the darker one does come off a little bit thicker just because, you know, the consistency of the Huda Beauty foundation is always going to be thicker because Huda is like me and loves her a good coverage moment. So it's going to be more coverage, and I feel like Westman Atelier is less about the whole coverage thing. I just realized that this is shade 12 and I bought this in shade 11, so that might be why I don't like this as much either, because I should have bought shade 12 in this. But that's okay, it's just a mixer because I feel like with shade 11 or 12 it still wasn't going to give them a coverage I want because the color wasn't going to change the coverage. Okay, so next I have my Tom Ford Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. I wear the shade 10 Chestnut. Yeah, y'all, I end up pulling the top of it off, forgetting that it was one I had to twist up. So now I just have it like this. But when I buy a new one, eventually I will obviously remember to twist it up, just like with my primer I have right now. But I love this foundation. This is definitely Your Skin But Better foundation. Honey, it looks amazing on the skin. It's amazing. It's wonderful. I wouldn't recommend that you buy this at full price though. I've seen this at the what is it, the company, the cosmetics company store, a company cosmetic store. I've seen it at the CC store at a great deal for people my skin tone. So if you're my skin tone, I definitely recommend you check out and see if they still have it there, because that was a while ago when I saw it. I bought mine from Nordstrom's on sale while I was on vacation in Vegas, like the year before. So when I was in Vegas in 2021, that's when I bought this foundation along with the concealer I'll talk about in a minute that I think is amazing. The last foundation I have to talk about is one I got recently. I got the shade TW in this Guerlain Terracotta, what is this, Healthy Glow Natural Perfection 24-hour wear foundation. Sorry, no transfer foundation. So I'm thinking I should have got 6W instead of 7, but with the swatches it didn't look like it's gonna be deep enough. But this is a little bit deeper than I expected it to be. But since summer's about to come, I'm gonna just wear it all summer long, because you know it'll be better for me in the summertime than it will right now. So I'm definitely gonna go ahead and hook that up. So I love the coverage on this. I love how natural it looks on the skin. It does have a natural glow to it, like it says in the foundation, a healthy glow. I would definitely say it has a healthy glow to it. And then when you add the drops from Kosas, these right here, these highlighting drops, I have the shade Recharge. It helps lighten it up a little bit, and it does even more of a glow to it. So it just makes you look like you have a nice glow from within, kind of like I do right now with this foundation. But with this I use the glowy powder to make it look like I'm having a kind of glow from within type situation. It's not the foundations I have on. At least I don't feel like it was, although they do have skincare properties in them. I'm actually comparing two foundations. One is Drugstore and one is high-end, and it's supposed to have the same, what do you call it, the same type of skincare ingredients in them. So you can comment down below and tell me which side of my face you prefer, girl. But let's get into these concealers so we can finish off this video. So this one to me is somewhat of an honorable mention. This is the Amy Coley Skin Enhancing Concealer. I have the shade Deep 2.5. If y'all remember, I didn't like the coverage that this gave, or the lack thereof. To me, this is much thin. This is too thin of a concealer for the kind of coverage I like when it comes to concealer. But y'all know I'm more of like a high medium coverage concealer type girl, because I already have on a full coverage foundation, so I don't want it to be too high, but at the same time I don't want it to be like sheer like I feel like this was. So to me, this is just one I would highlight my face with, or put in the inner corners to get that brightness that people talk about. But I've been mixing this one with the Very Valentino concealer, because if you all remember, this doesn't give that much coverage either. This is the shade DA2. It just says Very Valentino concealer. It has a name to it. You all can go watch the video about it. And this is in the video with the Westman Atelier drops that I showed you all, as well as the Guerlain foundation that I just showed you. But mixing these together has been a match made in heaven to me, because it's like I feel like this gives a decent amount of coverage, and this gives a little bit more brightness that I was hoping for. So they work perfectly together. It's just I wouldn't recommend this on its own. That's why it's more of an honorable mention for me. If you have nice under eyes and you get a decent amount of sleep, then you would probably like this. If you like a sheer to light coverage of concealer, that's how I feel about it. I don't feel like it's even giving medium. It may give like a highlight and maybe if you build it up some more it can give medium, but to me it was just like sheer to like maybe highlight coverage. It just didn't give what I needed it to give, so that's why it's an honorable mention for me. But mixing it with the Very Valentino that gives like a light to medium coverage, I feel like it's a good job. I don't think it gives any more than medium though, and it's light medium. It's not like high medium coverage by any means. But I like both of those and I think they're amazing. So the next one I have to talk about is the most bougie concealer I own. This is the Shade and Illuminate Concealer from Tom Ford. I have the shade 5WO Tan. I love this concealer. Like, I love putting this with the Tom Ford Traceless Matte Foundation I just showed y'all. I think it looks beautifully together. I just think this is a gorgeous concealer underneath the eyes, and it looks really nice, and it highlights and illuminates just beautifully on the face. So I've seen that in the Company Cosmetics store as well though, so if you can find it, girl, grab it. Now I wouldn't pay the $90 for it because it's not worth the $90 at all. I didn't even pay $90 for it. I caught it on sale along with the Tom Ford foundation, and that's how I ended up with it. But like, yeah, no, it's a gorgeous product. It's just, it's extremely too high for what it is, in my personal opinion. Next I have the Givenchy Prism Libre Skincare and Concealer. I have the shade N405. Now this one is a little too deep for my liking when it comes to a highlighting shade, so again I like to mix the Amy Coley concealer in with this to give it a little bit more brightness. So you see how the difference in the shades of those, so it gives the lightness that I want in this one, and then I just use it to highlight my face as well. But this one gives the coverage when it comes to that situation. It gives more coverage than the Valentino one and this one, so it has a little bit more coverage, but it still gives that natural skin look to it, and that's what this video is supposed to be all about. So that's why I picked it and I just paired with this one. So this is like a pairing concealer for me. It's not one I can use on its own, but I feel like I've made that very clear. So I only have a couple more concealers to talk about and then we'll be done, girl. So I have the Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer. I wear the shade 44Y. This concealer was made in Canada. I just realized that. This concealer is definitely full coverage and looks amazing on the skin, but it actually does look pretty skin-like considering the type of coverage you give. So that's why I want to make sure I include this. Plus it's from the Sephora brand, so you know it's going to be reasonably priced. I think this was under 20 bucks. If not, it was 20 bucks. But I feel like this is like in the $16 to $20 range. Now, I didn't have any luck with the foundation. Like, the shade was really red, even though it claimed it was yellowish golden. It was red and it didn't work out for me, so I just didn't try to find another one because I didn't like the formula enough to go through all that. So I think I just gave it to my cousins, if I remember correctly. I wasn't necessarily feeling it, so I'm just like, okay. But anyway, back to this one. This concealer is amazing. I don't recommend the foundation, but I definitely recommend the concealer. It is just a gorgeous product. Sephora made a hit with that one. The last concealer I have to talk about is the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Radiant Concealer. I have the shade 11.75 Tan. As y'all know, I really like concealer shades, and the foundation shade I have is neutral and a little bit darker, so that's why I made sure I got a lighter skin tone shade when it came to the concealer, because her foundation is a little bit deeper. I like that foundation, but I'm not in love with it, and it's not one I reach for that often, so I want to be true to stuff I reach for pretty often, as opposed to just like pulling stuff out that you know of or I have used a few times on camera and liked. I wanted it to be stuff I actually love. So that's the last product I had to talk about. The consistency of that concealer is actually pretty nice. I heard some people saying they thought it was kind of thick. I would say it's a little bit thick compared to some of the newer ones I have tried, but it still gives the coverage that I like, and that's what it comes down to for me. It's all about the coverage. It can be a little bit thicker if it's going to be providing the coverage that is needed in order for like it to give the type of finish and what I like in it. So that's why I included it in my video. But those are all the things I had to talk about with you all today. So you can comment down below and tell me if you like any of these products the way I like these products, or if you found different ways to use these products if they didn't work for you, like I was telling you about with the Westman Atelier drops and with the Amy Coley concealer. So those are all the things I had to talk about. Comment down below and tell me what you think. But I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.